Okay, Team F1 Sports here, BKP sitting down with head football coach Chris Parker of the Picken Dragons. Coach, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing great, doing great.
All right, Thursday, we're going to upload this tonight so people can be looking at a little preview of tomorrow night. Your Dragons are 11-0, congratulations, with a big win over White County, number 4 seed out of, I think, Region 7.
Correct.
All right, last week, 42-0. This week, this Friday night, a bigger test comes to town. Region, are they 5?
Region 5.
Region 5, Troup County's coming out of Region 5 as a second seed, only behind number 1 Cartersville in their region.
Right.
And they're traveling up Friday night. So let's talk about that as a little preview for what we're going to see tomorrow against Troup County and what kind of team you're up against.
Well, it's the best team we played all year. You know, we know in our region, Ridgeland was kind of the team that had won the region several years in a row. And Troup had beaten Ridgeland significantly early in the season. So that could tell you where they are. They're
That's what I did look at when I was looking at Troup.
So that kind of gives you a gauge. Ridgeland's the only team both of us played. Both of us won the game. They probably won by a little bigger margin than we did. They're very athletic. You got probably 4 or 5 Division I big-time football players going to Alabama, Auburn, places like that. And then a lot of other good players too. So, you know, far and away the biggest challenge we'll have all year so far. But, you know, that's to be expected. That wouldn't matter what part of the bracket we were in. You'd be playing Marist or Blessed Trinity or St. Pius or, you know, Cartersville or, you know, these are the type of teams you're going to play in the second round. And if you keep winning, these are the type of teams you keep playing. So, you know, we're very grateful to be here and happy to be here. First time ever for the school in 62 years to be playing in the second round. But at the same time, we're not trying to worry about all that. We're just trying to win this one football game. And, you know, we're not going to back down, and we don't feel like we have no chance or anything like that. But we do know that they got a really, really, really good football team. We'll have to play really well, and you know, probably hope they make a couple mistakes.
Ridgeland, you had what I call a firm win against Ridgeland. You really did. You guys played well, executed. You came out in the second half, and immediately got on the board that first drive in the second half against Ridgeland. Seemed to deflate them a little bit, and then it just, you know, continued on. So I think you guys had a great game plan in Ridgeland. Have you looked at the Ridgeland? How do you compare looking at the Ridgeland Troup County film, seeing how you guys played against Ridgeland, and any of the comparables there?
It's a great film to watch because we know who Ridgeland is. We played them, so it's
right.
Sometimes when you watch film, you know, we watched all 11 of their games, but when you watch film and somebody does something really well or something really poor, and you don't know that team, sometimes it's not that this team's good, it's that this one's bad, or that this team's really good. And so sometimes watching film, it can be misleading. So the best film you can get are of the common opponents. The only difference for us is I believe it was Troup's first game they played Ridgeland. It might have been Ridgeland's second game. But it was early in the year. Of course, we played Ridgeland later in the year.
Right.
So there's a little bit of difference there. But, you know, the truth is how they compare. I mean, you know, they're both got really good skill players. So if you came and watched our game of Ridgeland, you're going to see a team with comparable skill players, maybe in some cases guys with even bigger offers. The quarterback's committed to Auburn. And but then on the line, I'm not sure that Troup's a little better than Ridgeland. I thought Ridgeland was good, but I think Troup's probably a little better on the offensive and defensive lines, and their outside backers are really good. You know, one's going to Alabama, the other one's really good too. So, you know, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, it's going to be a challenge.
They're averaging, and I know every time you and I get together, and I start throwing in stats, but just quickly, on an average, they're averaging 258 receiving a game and averaging 212. They have a balanced receive. Looks like they have a balanced game from passing and rushing, and they're somewhere around 400 yards a game. And as we both know, if you can get if your defense is playing well and you're getting 400 yards one way or the other, you should be winning football games. So what are we seeing on their offense Friday night?
Well, the quarterback's really good. He makes it go. Like I said, he's an Auburn commit. I think he's a receiver in college is what they've recruited him as, but he's a pretty dang good quarterback too. But he's thrown for all those yards you named, and he's getting probably about half of those rushing yards.
Right. He's a double threat. I was going to bring that up.
They've got a couple of really good backs. They're pretty good on the offensive line, and then I'm impressed with their receivers. I mean, a couple of these receivers are really big kids, 200 pounds, 210 pounds. You don't see a lot of receivers that big. So imagine like Zach Goss, but big. We'll get on Zach for that.
Zach, I didn't say it.
But they've got a couple guys like that. Troup's always been known for good football, and that LaGrange area has always had a lot of good football teams. LaGrange High School won the national championship, a few times, I think, back in the day. And this whole area they've just hit a good run of, they're kind of solid at every spot. I mean, they really are. They got same reason I think we've had a good year. I think we're good on the line. We've got good skill players. We've got a quarterback, got a kicker. All the things you've got to have to be good. Troup has them. So, one thing I watching their offense was I just didn't think they have much of a weakness. I thought, they can hurt you throwing the ball down the field or throwing it short or running the quarterback. There's a lot of things to cover out there. We're going to have a hard time stopping them all the time. We're going to have to find a way to win those key downs, to end drives, get them off the field, and then when opportunity presents itself, we got to make a play, get a turnover. Get them off the field if they get a penalty, stuff like that.
Well, for those that may be watching, I don't want to make it sound like we're not highlighting the Dragons or how well you've played this year. I'm just trying to learn more about the opponent,
exactly,
more than anything today, because you have several players that are double and triple threat, offense and defense. Striker, 70-some yard touchdown pass last week, nice, led his receiver, beautiful. Great downfield, and then it's nothing for CJ to run north and south 5 yards at a shot, and next thing you know, break one open for 15. So I do understand, but with Troup's quarterback, like we said, he's a double threat. A lot of those rushing yards belong to him, and he has the passing yards. But something I also picked up that I thought was impressive with them that they're coming up with, I think he's got like 6-7 guys he's throwing to also that have, where he's mixing it up. So how's your defense looking at that offense, and how do you go up against that when you got a quarterback that's like you said, a D1 player? He has the double threat, so they got to stay home, but at the same time he can mix it up and throw to 6-7 guys.
Well, I mean, anytime a team is good at everything, and that's kind of what you're describing. If a team is a primary run team, or if they're a primary pass team, where they're good on the line but bad somewhere else, or they're bad on the line but good at receiver. If there's things like that, the coach can affect the game a little more. We can change things to accentuate where we're better. And I'm not going to tell you when, because that wouldn't be fair to other teams, but we've done that several times this year. I think these guys, better than any team we've played, if we put one extra guy down there to stop the run or to spot a quarterback, then they're going to hurt us throwing the ball. If we put an extra guy, double team one of their receivers, they're probably going to run the ball for a lot of yards on us. You're going to have to play a little more just regular, sound defense. You're going to have to make tackles when we get opportunity. We're going to have to play solid, balance up, and when the opportunity presents itself, we're going to have to take our chance. So if it's 3rd and 1, we need to win. One of those 3rd and 1s, we need to hit them in the backfield. If it's 3rd and 11, we kind of have to win. Like, that's a play we have to win. We can't let them convert that 3rd and 11 and then keep the ball and go because they're so explosive and so many good players that the more they extend that drive, where it could have been over after that 3rd and 11, now they get to keep playing. There's a better chance they're going to score. And so, we'd be foolish to assume we're going to shut them down and not let them get a yard all night. They're too good, like you mentioned. But we can win those key plays and get them off the field. We don't count yards. We don't count first downs. None of that stuff matters for points.
Getting them off the field.
You got to get these guys off the field. The best way to get a team off the field is, we talk about 3 T's, tackling. You got to make tackles. So often watching the game, if it's a fan or just watching something on TV, you don't really notice how many times a team scored. And if you watch that drive backwards, watch it over again, there was a play where on a 1st and 10, they could have made a tackle for a 3-yard loss. Somebody missed the tackle. It ended up being a 4 or 5 yard gain. It just changes the whole drive. You got to make key tackles. The second T be turnovers. If we get a chance to intercept the ball, we got to catch it. We can't drop the interception or, and everybody just say, oh, that's a key play. If they fumble the football, we got to come up with it. And the 3rd T will be 3rd down. So you got tackling, turnovers, 3rd down. If we can win those 3 things, being real balanced, that's what you got to do. Because there's not really a guy where we can say, okay, this receiver is so good and the rest of them are so bad that we're just going to try to take this one receiver away. Like I said, that's not how Troup County operates. You know, we can't just say if we spy this quarterback that we're going to be able to beat them. It's not that easy. So we're going to have to kind of do everything, and we're just going to have to stay ahead of it and try to disguise what we're doing and get them to maybe turn the ball over a couple times. You know, that's the truest answer I could give you on what we're trying to do.
Your guys, amazing team on the sideline. The bottom line is they're 11-0. It's that simple. You don't become an 11-0 team if you're not playing good football, and you're not a good team. So they're checking off a lot of the boxes. They just are. Great team out there on Friday night. Hundreds of teams in the state are not playing for next week.
Right. This
team is playing for next week. But what about if the conversation that goes around the circles when I guess a couple guys might be just hanging out and talking about all the competition? What about if 4A Region 6, if the conversation is, well, that region's not as strong as 4A Region 5 with a Cartersville, a Troup, and maybe some of the other regions, and 6 is not as strong a region. The only way I know how to put it.
Well, that may actually be true. I mean, there's no way the JHSA does not put people in regions based on putting 3 solid football teams in each region or something. Region geographic, and there is some regions better than others. Some years it's been ours, some years it's been others. I think this year the region was kind of average. To be honest, I didn't think it was bad. I thought Ridgeland was pretty good. Ridgeland beat Flowery Branch last week, who everybody thought was great. They lost to Blessed Trinity in overtime.
Right.
Ridgeland beat them. We beat Ridgeland. We've beaten 6-0 this year against playoff teams. So we played the teams who are in our region on our schedule. Our non-region schedule, we played 2 teams that made the playoffs, 2 didn't. Anybody watch you play know we got a decent team. Now, if we played Cartersville, I don't know what would happen. I mean, I'm sure Cartersville's got a great team. We ain't beat them I don't think in 62 years, so I don't know if we'd have beat them this year. But we didn't play them.
We got several firsts, right? There's no reason
we didn't play them.
Keep checking things off, right?
I do think, I think it's one of them things where we can talk all day about this because you can go off on a rabbit hole here. But, anytime you're not good, there's people that'll kick you down, but actually a lot of people will tell you it's okay, and they'll kind of pat you on the back and tell you it's okay, it's not about winning, and a bunch of junk like that. And then when you are undefeated, there's way more people trying to kick you down a lot of times, and they want to tell you why their team was good, not yours, or why their group was, And so, look, we've told guys all about it. I hope that we build a football team that people complain about the schedule, or they complain about, whatever we're doing, and everybody puts you under a microscope and says, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. If you get accused of a bunch of stuff like that, not playing anybody or, whatever it is, then usually that's a good sign. Because, usually if you're not very good, nobody really saying much to you about it. They're just kind of going on. So I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of the region we played in. I think, one thing to remember is half the teams have to lose every week. So for us to be good, some teams did have to take a step back. So we've been the 3 or 4 seed the last couple of years in the playoffs.
Right.
For us to be the 1 seed, some other guys had to kick down to the 3 or 4 seed. So that, next year, whole nother year, we might be back down too. You never know. Hopefully we'll stay up. We're going to try. But I think comparing the regions is very difficult. To answer you, it's a great question, by the way. But I did think the region was average this year. We played when this region was a little tougher. Of course, when Cartersville was in, it was a little tougher. But even like Heritage and Northwest, some of those teams are rebuilding more now than they were maybe a year or 2 ago. But we were rebuilding more then. So I think if you look at it from the perspective of Southeast Whitfield or Gilmer or some of those, they might tell you the same number of decent teams in the region. They were just different. This year Pickens was a little better. Northwest was a little less. So some of that, I thought Ridgeland was really good. Ridgeland beat Flowery Branch actually is one of those things that I think kind of validates that, Ridgeland was a good football team.
Coach, I just bumped into a guy in town that has been on the sideline with this team for years, every Friday night on the sideline with the team. And this individual said, I think these guys can play with anybody. And it's believing. And I always say an opponent's worst situation is playing a team that thinks they can win.
Right.
How's the guys' attitude in the locker room? Do you feel from them
Right.
that they think they can go out here? Is it going to translate to the field? What's the guys?
I know they think they can win. Yeah, it's been the most confident group of guys that we've had in my 11 years as head coach. We don't go out there thinking we're going to lose to anybody.
I understand that, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying that it's not like that every year.
No, I
I think the
understand.
kids. I think we're on the same page on this. And same thing as what you're saying, that I've just been really surprised at how confident the kids are. I think because of the internet. When I first started coaching, 18 years ago, there wasn't any of this stuff. So there might be Troup County kids watching this, or Troup coaches, or whatever. Our kids didn't have that kind of stuff back then, so they didn't know anything about Troup County. So you go in the locker room and tell them whatever you wanted to tell them, about them. Now they go look it up and they see this kid's going to Alabama.
Exactly.
And usually, most teams are going to take that information and just say, "Whoa, we're going to step back. We don't want to, I guess we'll find out tomorrow night if our kids do that, but I will be surprised. This bunch has been so confident, so they believe in themselves, they believe in each other, and they've just been, this ain't really the time to have a final statement on the season. Hopefully that's coming weeks from now. But this has been far and away the most rewarding group of kids, that we've worked with for 12 years, or 11 years I've been the head coach. There's no disrespect to the other 10 teams. They've been fun to work with too. But these group of boys are just, there's so many of them that just want to win. They just want to win. I mean, we've got 10 guys that run the ball, or 10 guys that can, we just hand it to whoever. We just want to win. CJ gets a lot of credit, but his stats are not unbelievable this year. He just wants to win.
He's playing solid football. It's what I call solid football. It's not like he's rushing, 70, 80 yards. But if you come on the sideline and watch CJ play, head down north and south, he turns a 3-yard into 5.
Yeah.
And that's how you win football to me.
Right.
If you watch him on Friday night, he might not have the 78-yard win, but when you need 5 and there's 3 tacklers on him on the 3 with 3 yards, he knows he needs 2 more.
He's,
and that's what I'm impressed with.
Just a great football player. Great kid, great football player.
One more thing, I know you're busy and got things to do, just 1 or 2 more things, because I was on the sideline, not your team, but another team several weeks ago, and this team that should be losing, say it like that, compared to the team they were playing, and they were playing, and a guy looks at me and he says, looks like it might be a pretty good game. And I said, yeah, because nobody told those kids that they would lose.
Right.
Nobody told them they're supposed to lose, so they think they
Right.
can win, and that's the place you want to be.
That's right.
As a dangerous place for an
that's
opponent.
right.
So your kids, and I like the way you put that, because you're exactly right. 11 years ago when we started the business, my business, when you started head coaching, they didn't have all this.
Right.
But as a head coach, you have to understand. I keep saying we got to end, and we do. So I want to ask you, and I know you got guys out there.
Well, your boy interviewed yesterday.
The guy's pretty healthy.
Beat up a little bit. I think everybody will play Friday, but we got some guys beat up. I mean, it's that time of the year where people are, I hate to say minor, not minor for those guys that are hurt, but minor that it probably won't hold them out from playing. But we got some guys, that are banged up here and there. But, no excuses. I assume Troup does too. I don't know anything about them, but got to assume they played 11 football games.
If you play 11 football games, you got some guys banged up.
Yeah.
That's
So,
just all there is to it.
We just got to be ready to play, and we've been in great depth this year. Guys have stepped up when they needed to, so we'll be ready if that happens again.
Coach, wish you well Friday night against Troup coming to town. Folks, this is our preview. We just want to make sure we just say it one more time. We're not highlighting these Dragons today. We all know about our team and how proud we are of the Dragons. We wanted to give you, the fans out there, an opportunity to hear some preview about the team coming to town. So we're going to upload this tonight. Coach, I'll see you tomorrow night. on the
Yeah,
field?
tomorrow night.
I gotta get 2 sweatshirts out tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
it's gonna be cool, but it's gonna be clear. So come out and see
Clear
us.
but cool.
Yeah,
Come
bring your
out.
sweatshirt. Come out and see us.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, Gil.